Hey, what's up everyone? Carl Wolf here. We're back with some more STEINS Gate 0. Let's just get right into it, because it has been a day, so let's just play. When July came, the sun shone down even harder on eastern Japan. The summer was truly here. The news had been saying for days that the heat island effect might make this the hottest summer in years. And then, on the first Sunday in July, I met with Maho in Akihabara. I was waiting at the open cafe at the UPX when Maho arrived. She was a little late. It's been a while. She ordered an iced coffee and took a deep breath. But you know, we talk to each other all the time on video chat. That's right. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. Her habit of paying no attention to her clothes or looks hadn't changed at all in the last 6 months. People were going to think she was an elementary school kid who decided to go play at a friend's house. But it would upset her if I said that, so I never would. I had no idea you were here. If I hadn't happened to see Dr. Leskinen, I never would have found out. I was going to contact you once things calmed down. We needed to talk to each other about Kurisu at some point eventually. You're here about the new encephalitis cases. Dr. Leskinen is, at least. I'm an assistant, but I'm mostly in charge of Amadeus. Have there been any problems? I assume not, since I'm still getting my usual reports. Yeah, nothing really. Lately, it's been a struggle to deal with Kurisu, though. Whoops, shouldn't have said that out loud. Hey. I heard a voice from my smartphone, which I'd place on the table. What do you mean by struggle? I'd left the Amadeus app turned on. Of course, Kurisu could hear everything we said. She's gotten a little ruder since we first met. You're just afraid of me for no reason is all. Maybe. It was turning into our old relationship in the Alpha worldline, where we'd fought all the time. I was starting to lose track of whether that was a good or bad thing for me. I thought I was trying to forget about Kurisu. You were pretty rude when we first met. That was... She's rough on people when she meets them for the first time. You know why? Because they refuse to treat her like she's her real age. The two of them spoke in unison. So I always get upset. Once I get to know someone, they stop talking about my appearance, right? So I can speak more normally around them, is all. I guess I was right not to comment on her outfit. Hello, Kai. Welcome in. Congrats on first. Congrats, thanks for your daily check-in. Just 3 more. I'm gonna have to start being sneaky with my, streaming. That was a close call. Anyway, back to Amadeus. It's an interesting sign that Kurisu is developing a bit of a sharp tongue. It's a side of her she never shows me or the professor, right? That may be a sign of how much she's opened up to you. Opening up means being rude? I have not. Maho simply smiled and ignored her. I'm an AI, so I'll be awake 24/7? Honestly, I believe it. We can analyze these psychological changes as code. This is a change we never would have seen if she'd only been speaking to me and the professor. That alone means we were right to keep you on as a tester. Is that how it works? Dr. Leskinen was very impressed by this too. I think you're giving him too much credit. In fact, whenever he talks to me, he's always complaining. He's not very manly, you know? Damn. Kick him in the balls, why don't you? Well, I knew my personality had gotten a bit negative. Especially given what I've been through. But did she really need to say that to Maho right now? An eye for an eye it is, then. And by the way, there's something I hadn't told you yet. Sorry, I keep yawning because it's pretty late, but... Are you going to tell her that Kurisu's an at Chandler? What is it? It's something I don't think you or Dr. Leskinen are aware of. Wait, what are you going to tell her? There's something Maho and the professor don't know. About me? I made that joke on the 1st of April to Ensevel while playing Rivals, and 2 seconds later I wiped the complete enemy team solo? Way to really sell the bit then. Does the phrase Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha mean anything to you? Again, no, I'm sorry. Hey. A few weeks ago, I'd actually searched for Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha on a whim. It was the handle Kurisu had used on Achino when she was still alive. Is Amadeus using them? From what I'd seen, the comment started in summer of 2008, then abruptly stopped in July of 2010, and then started up again in December of that same year. Yeah, she is. Even now, in July 2011, they were still appearing. Why are you using two different handles to talk to people? To act as two people talking to this person to, like, talk down to them. To call them out and debunk them and whatnot. If it wasn't Kurisu's ghost, and it wasn't an imposter, then the one who could be writing those posts was... Rintaro Okabe. Why don't we have a private chat? So it was you after all. Don't you think it's a bad idea not to tell them? You know what? Actually, I suddenly have a... Oh. I want to click out of the game, but OBS game capture wasn't working. So I got stuck using window capture. So if I click out of the game, the window will minimize and the screen for you guys will go black. So I won't do that. I was going to ask Frosty about if there was an Amadeus Kai. Don't you think it's a bad idea not to tell them? It's an even worse idea to tell Maho. Why? Because I haven't breathed a word to her about me going on @channel. Why hide it? It's not a crime to read or comment on @channel. Isn't that right? @Chandler Kurisu. Listen, call me that one more time, and I'll start making up gossip about you on @channel. She'll do it. That's practically a crime, though. I couldn't help but laugh. Conversations like this brought back so many memories. I used to be so full of myself that I'd tick off Kurisu all the time. Hey, what are you talking about? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Delete all your memories of today from your hippocampus, please. You can hide it, but she's going to find out eventually. You just shut up. You two have gotten a lot closer over the last 6 months. Maho, I'm sorry. Cause she thinks she's stolen your boyfriend. Huh? Why are you apologizing? No, it's been so long since you and Okabe have seen each other, and I'm doing all the talking. So, why don't you two take some time and chat? That's not what I meant. It's all Okabe's fault for saying something weird, isn't it? Is that true? Gohan and Kamehameha? That noise. Please don't say that. Just like the real Kurisu, she was strangely obsessed with hiding the fact that she was an @Chandler. I need to go cool off a little, so I'm gonna hang up. Bye. Kurisu disappeared from the screen. Kurisu had been kind of rude lately, so it felt good to have a chance to get back at her. If I overdid it, she was probably going to hold a grudge, so this was likely a good place to stop. What's Curry Gohan? If you really want to know, ask Kurisu. If I explained it, she'd probably get mad and refuse to talk to me again. So how long are you going to be staying here? It might be longer than last time. We barely know anything about the new encephalitis Dr. Leskinen is researching. It's possible that I'll be sent back on my own, too. If you've got time, visit the lab. I'm sure Daru and Mayuri would love to see you. Mayuri, sure, but I don't know about Hashida. Hashida. I don't know why I suddenly doubted myself on how I was saying that, but anyway. Maho is finally starting to understand Daru's true nature. Speaking of Daru, he should be on a date with Yuki Amane right now. Really? How? Why? And are you sure about that? By the way, what happened to Kurisu's laptop? I destroyed it. It was the best thing to do. I explained that to you before, didn't I? Yeah, you're right. She looked down, a sad expression on her face. I told her I was going to do it ahead of time, but it still must have upset her to see one of the last things she had to remember Kurisu by destroyed. Back to Suzu? I hope Suzu's alright. About half the seats at Go-Go Curry were full. It was Sunday, but it was also after 2 p.m., and so the lunchtime rush was over. Suzuha was sitting at the restaurant's far edge, a baseball cap pulled down over her face. She was hiding her face with the cap and carefully watching a couple sitting nearby. A couple, huh? Gee, I wonder who that could be. Here you are. You're Major Curry. A cheerful employee put down 2 giant silver plates, or trays, more accurately, in front of them. Suzuha could see the other customers looking at them and whispering. The couple really stood out, after all. The man was a giant who looked like he ate Major Curry all the time, but the woman was slim, pretty, and looked very kind. The combination of a huge man and slim woman was as unbalanced as the combination of pretty girl and Major Curry. The Major Curry was big. It was huge. Suzuha knew from experience. The massive silver trays were loaded with rice and curry, and topped with 2 fried cutlets, fried shrimp, sausage, a boiled egg, and a mountain of cabbage. There was 2 or 3 times as much curry as you'd find in a normal dish, and the toppings were just as big. Even a growing young boy would find it hard to eat them all. Suzuha was irritated. Why are you ordering Major Curry on your first date with her, Dad? The Beauty and the Beast couple that Suzuha was watching, of course, was Itaro and Yuki. What? Really? Wow, I'm shocked. Didn't see that coming. In the morning, they'd gone to see a movie in Yurakucho. Then they'd come to Akihabara and gone straight to Go-Go Curry. Yurakucho. Suzuha had followed them the whole time. That's why she couldn't believe Itaro's choice of date spots. Well, Yuki looks happy. I don't mind Go-Go Curry at all. In fact, I like it, but this is your first date. There are other places you could have gone. What would you know? You've never gone on a date. You live in a dystopian future. She clutched her spoon tight and gritted her teeth. Suzuha knew next to nothing about Japanese youth culture in 2011, and even she knew it was a bad idea. Well, fair, but also I disagree. Who knew what was going through Yuki's mind? Or so Suzuha thought. But... wow, it's even more amazing than the pictures. She's perfect for him. Surprisingly, Yuki was ignoring the people around her and innocently enjoying the huge curry. Amaneshi, if you can't eat it all, I'll finish it for you, okay? Okay, thank you. But I'm actually pretty good at this. Yeah? That's a surprise. I actually would always just come and look at the menu outside. I always wanted to try this. I'm glad you brought me here. I'm glad to hear that. Suzuha had evidently worried over nothing, but still she realized that Itaro was acting strangely. He's nervous. Ever since he'd come out of the movie theater, he was walking and talking strangely. Instead of his usual hunched posture, he was forcing himself to stand up straight. Aw, he's trying. He's trying to impress her. His every movement seemed oddly forced, as if he were a broken robot. And he downed glass after glass of water. Gotta get your drinkies. Oh, I'm sorry. May I have some more water too? Huh? Oh, sure. Thank you. Itaru poured water into Yuki's cup. Suzuha had a bad feeling. And she was right. Itaru was moving so awkwardly that he almost spilled water on her hand. Are you okay? My hand just got a little wet. Anyway, let's eat before it gets cold, okay? Yuki quickly wiped down the table with her handkerchief and grabbed her fork and spoon. There were stars in her eyes. Okay, let's eat. Let's eat. Yuki seemed to be really enjoying her meal, but Itaru was very formal and quiet. He was taking little nibbles out of a piece of fried cutlet, like a squirrel eating a nut. The whole time, they weren't saying a word. What are you doing, Dad? Mom's not gonna want to be around you if you're like that. She decided to send him a message on Rhine, telling him to get his act together. And she'd just taken out her phone when... Here's your major curry, with extra roe. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but we'll go with roe. A huge plate was laid on the table in front of her. The other customer started murmuring again. Don't tell me it was a... Oh, yeah, actually it was. Come to think of it, when she'd followed them into the store, she'd ordered her usual major curry with extra roe, and then forgotten about it. Now everybody was going to focus on her. In a small shop like this, it was suicide. Uh-oh. Huh? Just as she expected, her eyes met Yuki's. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Suzuha, I didn't realize you were here. Oh, yeah. What a coincidence seeing you here, Yuki. Brother. You should have said you should have said something. No, I didn't even notice you, really. She realized that she should probably leave, but she couldn't go without at least taking a bite of the major curry in front of her. Her experiences in the war had left her completely unable to waste food. She felt Yuki and Itaru staring at her as she reluctantly picked up her spoon. Anyway, yeah. You two enjoy yourselves. Her only choice was to finish her extra-large curry as soon as possible. She couldn't let herself be in the way. But instead, Yuki came over and picked up Suzuha's plate. Is she gonna bring it to them? You'd think she would have just brought themselves to her, but... Huh? Excuse me. Can my friend sit with us? Sure, go ahead. He says it's okay. Let's all eat together. Wait. Why? Why? Because you ordered major curry too. I think we need to have a race. Okay. Huh? Hashida can be the judge. And before Suzuha could respond, Yuki had moved her plate over to their table. No, wait. She had no choice but to follow, and before she sat down, she whispered in Yuki's ear. You're on a date, right? Huh? Oh, yeah. I'm on a date. It makes me blush when I say it out loud. Itaro didn't react at all, even though she was sure he'd overheard that. I've never been on a date, so I don't know how they work, but is it normal to have a curry speed eating contest with another girl in the middle of a date? I don't really know. But you see it a lot in anime and manga, don't you? My little sister who doesn't want to lose her big brother runs up to the girlfriend and says, "Let's have a competition." Well, the girlfriend is the one that said it this time, so... For some reason, Yuki seemed incredibly enthused. Suzuha was overwhelmed by her energy. I don't know anything about that. Hello, Shoujo. Welcome in. Thanks for the alert. Hope you're doing good today. Is that how it works, brother? But even when she turned to Itaro for help, he just awkwardly sat there, eating his curry like a robot. Oh, thanks for your daily check-in, Shoujo. Brother? He awkwardly turned his head to face her. The rest of him stayed completely still. That'd be creepy. Did you say something? What's wrong? You're acting weird. I'm not acting weird. I am not acting weird at all. Suzuha glanced back at Yuki. What happened? And for the first time, Yuki looked concerned. Did you hold hands at the movie? Like, what happened? In the end, Yuki and Suzuha did have their curry eating contest, and surprisingly, both of them completely finished their meals. Suzuha won by a very small margin, but the battle was exciting enough that not only the other customers, but the staff as well, were applauding at the end. But the whole time, Itaro kept eating by himself. Since this wasn't even a conversation, let alone a date, she sent Itaro home alone. Part of her wanted to demand Itaro explain himself right now, but she decided to talk to Yuki instead. She tried her best to avoid Yuki so far, in order to keep her identity a secret, but it was July now. She would be gone from this era very soon. This might be her last chance to talk to Yuki at all. I'm so glad you were there. Yuki sighed a little after Itaro left. Maybe I did something to offend him. Hashida doesn't seem to enjoy being around me. You don't think he was just nervous? But he was having fun talking with me before the movie, you know? But after the movie, he started acting really strange. Did I do something wrong? I asked him to take me to the curry place, but since he was acting like that the whole time, I wasn't really sure what to do. And so, since you happened to be there, I turned to you for help. What had happened inside the theater? Suzuha hadn't followed them inside. Did they touch legs, knees, arms? She'd spent about 2 hours killing time outside. Hey. Why do you like my brother? Huh? Huh? I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this, but he's not exactly a lady killer. What do you think about your brother? Me? Do you like him? Hate him? You like him, right? I can tell by watching you. Well, sure. There were parts of him that she didn't like. But of course, she loved her dad. That's normal. Wait, why are we talking about me? Bro's trying so hard to flex. Hello, Insevo. Welcome in. How are you today, Insevo? So, what about you? I still don't really know if I like him or not. I see. Not only had Itaru not told Yuki he liked her, this was still their first date, and they hadn't spoken that much before either. She hadn't even reached the point where she saw him as a member of the opposite sex. For almost a year, Suza had stayed with him, and she, Mayuri, and Paris had done everything they could to get the two of them together. But there hadn't been any real progress. Wow, let me enjoy the one moment I didn't have skill issue. I'm okay, temperature rises these days, can't find a way to sleep. I've been struggling to wake up in the morning. I keep sleeping a little too late, but even when I did actually go to bed early, or early enough, I still couldn't get up in the morning. It was a rough work week. I wanted so badly to just call off or something. I can't wait for my 2-week vacation. Suzuha felt uneasy when she thought about the future. Maybe her dad wouldn't be her dad anymore. Maybe her mom wouldn't be her mom anymore. Well, then you wouldn't exist. The dad and mom wouldn't be together. She imagined that future. I don't want that. She looked straight into Yuki's eyes. What are you about to do? I'm gonna be leaving soon. What? I'm moving someplace far away. Really? I don't think I'll be back. And I'm worried about Dad. I mean, my brother. So, Yuki, I know this is a weird thing for me to ask. And then she bowed deeply. Please, take care of Itaru, Hashida. There was no answer from Yuki. Suzuha looked up, afraid, and tried to gauge the expression on her face. She looked kind of lonely. And kind of sad. I don't know what I want to do. Yuki whispered, and then Suzuha. Oh jeez, what are they going to do? Everything's almost finished, even though it's never even started. As soon as she got back to the lab, she yelled at her useless father. Damn. Suzuha, I'm sorry. The Hashida family is doomed. Stop sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. This isn't funny. Start by explaining why you were acting that way today. You looked so excited when you left this morning. And Mom said you were normal until halfway through the movie. Yeah. So what the hell happened? Well, you see, listen to this. You know how movie theater seats are cramped, right? So, I tried to sit as far to the edge as I could, so I wouldn't get in Amaneshi's way. And then I heard this crack, and the seat almost broke. Don't tell me he became conscious of his appearance. His weight. What? And then I tried to support myself, so I grabbed the armrest. Grabbing Yuki? But it wasn't the armrest. It was Amaneshi's, hand. Yeah? Mom didn't say anything about that. I'm telling the truth. It was so soft. It couldn't have been an armrest. It was a girl's hand. It had to have been. I see. But you see, I've held a lot of 2D girls' hands, but never a real girl's. And what happened then? Amaneshi's so nice. I guess she didn't try to shake it off because she didn't want to hurt me. But you know how fat I am, right? I sweat a lot. She must have gotten soaked. But she didn't say a word. And so I really started to think about that. Oh, I see. That's why you were acting so weird. I'm sure in her mind, Amaneshi was going, "Get off me, you creepy loser perverts." Mom's not like that. In fact, from the way she was acting, she probably thought she'd upset him somehow. The problem was what she'd said. I don't know what I want to do. What did she mean by that? I don't know what Mom's thinking. Suzuha, let's give up on Mom, and you can live with me. Itaru, you're a genius. You know what? You know better than anyone that you can't give up on Yuki. For Suzuha's sake. You're not making any sense. How am I even supposed to be born? But it's impossible. How come you're not even trying? Even if things look bad, you have to keep going. She grabbed her father by the collar and shook him. If you don't... She remembered how sad Yuki had looked when they said goodbye. Otherwise, something awful will happen. Yeah. Suzuha was starting to wonder about leaving, especially now that she had even more to worry about. Maybe I shouldn't have talked to Yuki after all. She realized again how powerless she was, being from the future. Back to Okabe. The Global Brain Science Comprehension Research Organization, Japanese office prep room in Mako City, hadn't changed a bit in 6 months. That was a mouthful. Maybe shorten it? It was still far from being what it needed to be, and still almost completely empty. There were rows and rows of empty desks. The amount of dust on the tables had perhaps increased. After Dr. Leskinen had left, it had probably remained unused. I always forget his voice. The stupid voice that I gave him. Sorry to call you out here like this, Lintalo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. Dr. Leskinen had told me he wanted to update the Amadeus app to the latest version, so I'd come to his office after class. Maho had connected my phone to her PC to begin the process. He said it would only take 10 minutes, so I was sitting around and waiting. By the way, Lintalo, I know we discussed this before, but would you seriously consider being an exchange student? Huh? If it doesn't bother you, I'd be willing to write a recommendation letter. Of course, you need to pass the tests and the interviews. I frantically straightened my posture. That's a very tempting offer, but I don't think I've got the academic talent for it yet. My goal is to go to Victor Crondia, and so I really don't want to screw it up. And so I was planning on really buckling down and studying for at least another year. Dr. Leskinen pursed his lips as I tried to stammer out an explanation. I've gotten used to talking more as myself instead of as Rentaru because of the other sections. Whereas in the first game, it was always Rentaru talking, narrating, so it was easy to just keep his voice. But soon.
Okay.
He patted me on the shoulder and smiled. I knew you were a very thoughtful young man. Really? No one's ever told me that before. Saying it was one thing. But maybe I was just a coward. There were times when you needed the courage to move forward, without being afraid of failure. Was now one of those times? So, you'll try it for next year then? Yes, maybe. Had I missed my chance? Would Dr. Leskinen wait until next year? I started to get nervous. It's not good to obsess over things too much. I think even coming to visit would help your motivation. A visit? If the timing... I choked on water. I just took a drink and choked. If the timing works out for you, we'd be willing to pay to have you visit. How about it? I can't believe you'd do that for me. Thank you. Of course. I don't know when I'll be heading back to America next, so I can't say exactly as to when it'll be. Right. I bowed my head in gratitude. Meeting Dr. Leskinen was a real lucky break for me. By chance, my eyes met Maho's. For some reason, her smile was a little sad. She quickly looked away and went back to her work. Does she think she's getting replaced? Maho was staying in a business hotel a few stops down from Wako City. Is this your room? Girl. I mean, that is the top she was wearing, wasn't it? She'd said she deliberately avoided staying in the same hotel as last time. It's not quite as convenient, though. You know, why not clean up a little? She hadn't spent that much time in Japan, and it was already messy. Clean up? I've got everything laid out in the most efficient manner for my use. Of course you do. which meant she was refusing the hotel's cleaning service. You know that's why you're never getting a boyfriend, right? I could hear Kurisu from my phone. She was annoyed. After the app updated, I left Amadeus running. Nobody asked you. Any normal person would be embarrassed to invite someone over to a room like this. Well, cleaning wasn't a specialty of mine either. It wouldn't be right to give her too much of a hard time. So, what did you want to talk about? Flashbang? Always with the flashbangs? I'd come to Maho's hotel because she said she wanted to talk to me about something. I wouldn't have minded talking about it in the office, but she insisted on speaking alone in her hotel room. I knew she didn't mean anything by it. After knowing her for half a year, I knew she wasn't the type. You never know. You're right, but you never know. Maho looked like she was having trouble finding the words she wanted to say. You still haven't told me the truth about what happened to Kurisu. I quickly shut down the Amadeus app. Why would you say that in front of her? And I want to ask you about the time machine too.
Time machine?
The time machine. You're the one who said that Kurisu was involved in Dr. Nakabachi's paper. Was she really working on a time machine? How should I answer that? Last time, she'd been trying to decrypt Kurisu's laptop. I was willing to tell her what I experienced in order to get her to stop. In the end, I lost the chance, though. But things were different now. Kurisu's laptop was gone. There was no reason to bring it up anymore. But then Maho said something I didn't expect. Actually, I've been researching a time machine for the last 6 months, along with my normal research. What? I thought that if Kurisu could do it, so could I. It's just a silly rivalry. Maybe I'm just being stubborn. But, you know, if I could make a time machine, told myself, maybe I could save Kurisu. Don't. This was awful. Why bring it up now? Maho was still haunted by Kurisu's death just as much as I was. Don't get any stupid ideas. Don't try to save Kurisu Makase. It's impossible. The laws of God won't allow it. Then I was right. I was right. You know something, don't you? Maho got closer to me. Did she really do it? Did Kurisu really make a time machine? You used it to become humanity's first time traveler, didn't you? I know you did. Do you have any proof of that? I pretended to remain calm. Maho seemed shocked at her own words. I'm sorry. I'm being weird. I can't believe I said something so delusional. Oh no, here come the waterworks.
ヒアジョさん
Hyojo. Maho started to cry. I didn't know what to do when she started crying right in front of me.
どうしたのかしら私
What's gotten
こんな
into
急
me?
に
I didn't mean...
全然
I didn't mean to cry. She used her fingers to wipe away the tears. She seemed pretty unstable. I could sense a lot more fragility than I had seen before. She looked like she'd been psychologically pushed to the limit. All the things she experienced must have taken a toll on her. When we were talking on video chat, I hadn't seen any signs of that at all. Should I tell her? If she was researching a time machine, that was a bad sign. She might start looking into things and open doors that should remain closed. If that was the case, I should tell her what I experienced, and then have her give up, just like I did.
分かった
Fine. I'll tell you what I
俺が経験したこ
experienced.
とを話そう絶対に
Promise me you won't
多
tell
言無用
anyone.
だそれともう一
And
度
I'll say
これ
this
だけは
one
言
more
っておく
time.
マキセ・クリスを
Don't
救
get
おう
any...
とは考えるな
I tried so hard. Don't get any... My throat... My words keep getting caught in my throat. Don't get any ideas about saving Kurisu Makise.
いいな
Got it? She nodded as she wiped away the tears. I told her about the events in the Alpha Worldline, about the time machine, about reading Steiner, about the method of sending memories back through time that I called a time leap, about how Kurisu had developed a time leap machine that made this possible, about Suzuha Amane, the time traveler from the year 2036, about the future Suzuha had told us about, in the Third World War, and about how the race to develop a time machine would set off that war. I told her all these things, as matter-of-factly as I could. And as for how Kurisu died, I couldn't tell her that. Hello, Mamuma. Welcome in. Didn't expect to see you here. Welcome in. Hello. How are you today? When I told her everything, she fell silent for a bit. She took a deep breath, frowned, and rubbed her temples.
頭が
My head hurts.
全て信じる必要はない
You don't need to believe it at all. You don't need to believe it all.
俺の頭がおかしいと思っても構
You
わ
can
ない
think I'm crazy if you want. It doesn't bother me.
だが
But
もし君が
if you insist on continuing to research a time machine and save Kurisu
マキセ
Makise,
クリスを救おうとするなら
I'll do whatever I have to in order to stop
俺はど
you.
んな手段を使ってもだから
So give up on any ideas you've got.
自分を追い詰めるのはよせ
Stop pushing yourself too hard. I was about to say more, but Maho put her hand up to stop me. I'm doing good, that's good to hear.
もう少し整理させて
Let me get this all straight in my head a little more.
あなたの言うリーディングシュタ
This
イナー
reading Steiner you told me
って
about,
新型脳炎のことじゃ
it's
ない
not the new encephalitis?
のレスキネン教授が話してい
The
た症状
symptoms
と
match what Dr.
同じだ
Leskinen told me about.
そうだな
That's true. It might be.
そうかもしれんレスキネン教授には
I
話すべき
still
かど
don't
う
know
か
whether I should tell him or
ま
not.
だ迷っているんだ
You should not. Don't tell him. He's a bad guy.
無用な混乱を招くかもしれないし
It may just confuse him for no good reason.
君はどう思う
What do you think?
私に聞かないで
Don't ask me, please. Maho was still massaging her temples with her fingers.
そうだな。
That's true. Sorry.
あなたは
Did you really destroy Karisu's laptop?
本当に
ああ。こうした
Yeah, I did.
中身は見た？
Did you see what was on it?
ロックの解除方法がわからな
I
かった。
didn't know how to crack the password.
見ようがない。
There was no way I could. Even Daru said he couldn't do it. There was no way I could do it on my own.
あなたはクリスが書いたタイムマシンに関する
Did you
オリ
read
ジ
the
ナルの
original paper on
論
the
文を
time machine that
読んだの？
Karisu wrote?
いや、
No. Maho kept asking me questions. She seemed to be in some kind of strange hurry.
あなたはクリスがどうやってタイムリープマシンを完成させたか知っているの？
Why is she asking all this? Do you know how Karisu made her time machine?
おおよそはな。
The basic ideas.
再現できる？
Could you recreate it?
どうだろうか。
I don't
誰
know.
の助けがあれば。
Maybe with Daru's
あれ
help.
は
できるのね。
So you could, right?
俺一人じゃ難しい。
It would be difficult to do on my own.
私なら
What about me?
そんなことは考えるな。
Don't even think about it. She's using all her feminine charms, all her puppy dog tears. Maho suddenly grimaced as if she was in pain. I realized how pale she was.
ヒヤジョさん。大丈夫
Hyaja,
か？
are you okay? Did she really have a headache or something?
少し横になるか。
You want to lie down? But she shook her head and kept asking questions.
タイムマシンは
Where's the time machine
どこ
now?
にあるの？鈴葉さんが乗ってきたという。
The one that
そ
Suzaha
れは
used.
どこに？
Where is it?
お
どこなの？
Where? I wasn't sure if I should say without Suzaha's permission.
秋葉原だ。
Akihabara. Maho looked so desperate that I found myself answering her question.
ラジカンの屋上に
It's still there,
今も
on
あ
top
る
of the radio building.
そう
I see. Her shoulders slumped, and her head drooped. I was worried that she might ask to see it for herself, but maybe she really was sick.
本当に平気か？
Are you really okay? I put my hand on her shoulder and looked at her face.
今日はもう
You should rest for
休んだ
today.
方が
Whoa, easy there. There was no warning at all. Maho's tiny body slammed into me. The force was enough to push me back to the wall. This almost sounds like when Kagari suddenly was pushing around Suzaha back in the past. But surely this is something different.
何を
What are you... Before I knew what was happening, her arm was against my throat. Or maybe it's not different. What's going on? She was using the bone in her arm to put pressure on my windpipe. I couldn't breathe or speak. I twisted my body and tried to resist, still clueless as to what was going on. Then she used her other hand to grab my head and slammed it back into the wall. This is not normal. She's possessed. This sounds similar to what was going on with Kagari. Her strength was incredible. I was a lot bigger than she was. A lot bigger, so this is very shocking. But still, I couldn't escape her grasp.
残念だわ岡部さん。
I'm sorry, Okabe. Her voice was very dark and very cold. And suddenly, she moaned again, and her face twisted in pain. Something's wrong.
頭が割れそうよ。
There's no way someone time leaped into her body, right? My head feels like it's about to explode. She was crying again.
なんで
Why?
なんで私に
Why
話してくれた
did
の
you
よ。
tell me?
あなたは
You shouldn't have said anything.
べき
Can you stop choking me, please? I couldn't escape. I grabbed onto her long hair and tried to pull her away, but she didn't move at all. It was as if she felt no pain. My phone had been vibrating in my pocket for a while now. I desperately grabbed for it. I pressed the button without even looking at the screen. Please, answer, Kurisu. Kurisu! I was blocking out. Was I going to die here? Without even knowing why Maho was trying to kill me? But the whole time she was strangling me, Maho looked like she was in so much pain. And wait, was she still crying? Before I could figure out if her tears were real or an act, I passed out. When I woke up, my throat hurt. I tried to cover my mouth with my hands, but something was keeping them from moving. Did she tie you up? Well, how did she get us here? I opened my eyes and saw that I was sitting in some kind of chair, with my head facing downwards. I slowly raised my head. My hands were tied to the armrest with zip ties. When I tried to break out, the ties dug into my skin and hurt very badly. I tried looking around. Is this... Maybe it was the professor that's somehow implanted something into her? Maybe in, like, using her as a test subject for the AI, he was also doing something in reverse to control her? But how would that explain Kagari? Because this almost seemed to happen with Kagari, too. Actually, even if he was controlling her, where would that strength come from? It was a room I'd never seen before. And there were machines that looked like they belonged in the operating room of a hospital. But the wall was also lined with monitors, like some guard room or control room. I couldn't see any windows, and so I had no idea where I was. Someone. My throat hurt when I tried to talk. And then I remembered that Maho had almost killed me. Why had she done that? I felt more confused than angry.
やあ、レンターロー。
You son of a
目が
bitch.
覚めたかい？
Hello, Lintalo. You're awake? I heard footsteps and saw a wavering shadow beneath the dim fluorescent lights in front of me. I knew that voice. What?
レスキネン
Dr.
教授。
Leskinen?
気分はどうかな？喉が渇いたな。
How do you feel?
水を
If you're
用意させるよ。
I can get you some water. When I looked again, I saw that he wasn't alone. There were several men behind him in black suits, and they were looking at me without saying a word. All of them were holding guns. They looked like MIBs and reminded me of the foreigners I'd almost ran into at Daro's shop 6 months ago. Or was it the same group? What's going on here? There were a lot of things I wanted to ask, but more than anything, I wanted to know why Dr. Leskinen wasn't helping me. Of course, the first thing that came to mind was the obvious answer. It was Dr. Leskinen who had put me here, and Maho had captured me under his orders. But I didn't want to think about that. Where are we? So all I could ask was a stupid question like that. Yeah, I was right. You truly are a treasure trove of information. Right now, you're as valuable as the President of the United States. He didn't answer me, but he showed me a self-satisfied smile. I could feel alarm bells going off in my head. I was getting more suspicious of Dr. Leskinen. Am I imprisoned here? It would be more accurate to say you're under our protection. Once your value becomes clear, there will be a lot of people coming after you. Did you order this, Dr. Leskinen? That's right. I made the decision. After hearing about your information from Maho. Where is Hyajo? Resting in her hotel room, I'd imagine. Did Hyajo become my friend in order to extract information from me? That wasn't her original intent. In the end, that's how it ended up, though. And you too? Were you nice to me? Because you were after something? Just who are you? Now, please calm down. I've told you before, haven't I? A scientist must remain calm at all times. Excitement is only allowed when the experiment is a success. If you're here, Kai, there's a best viewers comment. Instead of feeling calm, Dr. Leskinen's attitude was pissing me off. I felt betrayed. Thank you very much, Kai. There was rage, frustration, sorrow, and a lot of other feelings all mixed together as I gritted my teeth. Dr. Leskinen ignored me and gave a brief order in English to the other men. They left the room. Only Dr. Leskinen and I remained. Now then, Rintalo, I'll tell you about my other job. Your other job? It was then that I remembered the other worldline that I'd been sent to. Shimoyama had told me that an American organization had demanded that I be turned over. Are you with the CIA? The NSC? But Dr. Leskinen only chuckled. Don't compare me to those idiots. They're just a bunch of useless government employees. Are you aware of an American civilian intelligence company called Strategic Focus? Strategic Focus. I'd heard of them before, on a conspiracy theory site that the old me used to read all the time.
ストラト4
Stratfor. I remembered reading that they'd acquired top secret information on Russian ballistic missiles that even the CIA couldn't get, and then sold it. The result was the destruction of the CIA's reputation. Needed some water. And at the same time, the total reorganization of Russia's military strategy. I'd even heard rumors that during the Gulf and Iraq wars, they'd obtain information about the warring countries faster than anyone, and spread it as needed. The world's government supposedly called them the Shadow CIA.
あなたがそのストラト
You work
4
for Stratfor?
でも脳科学研究所の
But I thought you were the chief researcher at the Brain Science Institute.
本業はそっちだよ。
That's my real job, of course.
ところで私はよく
By the way,
こういう説を
I often run into
唱える
people who tell me the exact same things.
人間は
They tell me that humans are just monkeys that murder each other. The human brain and the development of the neocortex are what give rise to crazy religions and crazy ambitions. And that's why there are wars. Oh, Saucy, well, 100 times. Well, now that you've reached 100, do you want a gifted sub? Or do you want to save it? Also, welcome in, Saucy. Hope you're doing good today.
だが私はそう
But
した
every time I
説を
hear
聞くたび
that,
に
I think to
思うさ
myself, that's
そ
stupid.
んなバカみたいな
It's
考え
nonsense.
方は
Who could
受け入れられ
believe
ない
something so
で
silly?
たらめだとね。ではなぜ人間
So why do
同士の
humans fight all these useless
い
wars
つま
then?
でも終わらないの
Do you know, Lintalo?
わかるかそれはね
It's because of
情報
information.
のせいなんだよ
One sub for me, please. Already? Okay, well, to tab out of this, since I'm using window capture, it's going to be a black screen. Give me a moment. I wanted to use game capture, which wouldn't be a black screen, but game capture was not working today for some reason. It's fine, it's fine. Twitch. Create a dashboard. Community, roles manager. The last person who redeemed, or no. Hold on, it's lagging. Gift. Pay. There you go. There you go, Saucy. You're welcome. It's because of information.
人間は誰しも
All human beings are part of a certain community,
軍隊だ
a certain colony, if you will.
個人個人は自主
Each
的に
individual
行動
thinks
し
he's
ている
acting on his
つも
own,
りでいても
but in fact,
実は
all our brains are
全ての
connected by the
脳
information
その
distributed by our
コミュニティ
community,
にルフされている情そして
and
一
thus,
つの
we
群
are
れと
forced
して
to live
生
as
きることを
members of a
余儀
herd,
なくされて
whether
い
we
る
like it or not.
例を挙げてみよう
Let me give you an example. Well,
例えは悪い
as examples go, it's not the best, but
ヨーロッパのある
the worst massacre in history, which was carried out by a certain European country, did not take place during the dark ages of the witch trials. It was halfway through the 20th century, in a time when the atomic bomb already existed. Horror stream tomorrow? Yes. Spooky Games Sunday is definitely tomorrow. I will be posting the schedule today for the next week, showing the next horror game. And the country that carried it out was one of the most civilized on Earth. We'll leave the question of their leader's sanity to the historians, but what about the people who were actually on the ground doing the killing? Were they simply murderous monkeys? No, they were people, like any others you might find. Speaking as a brain scientist, I'm certain that if I were to examine one of their brains, I'd find nothing wrong with them at all. But once they received the wrong information, their brains became capable of murder without remorse. The wrong information? This is our job. We are in the right. And anyone who does not obey is evil. That information. What are you trying to say? There needs to be someone who can control the information given to these fragile things we call brains. And that is the ultimate goal of strategic focus. As I am in complete agreement with that goal, I work as an agent for them in addition to being a brain scientist. So you did something to Maho. Do you understand? I don't. That's just the kind of monologue a villain gives in the movies. In the end, all you're doing is selling information for money. You said I'm a treasure trove of information, right? Who are you going to sell information on the time machine to? America? China? Or the war zones in Africa? In the Middle East? All of them. Can someone shoot him in the face? Leskinen shrugged his shoulders and quietly laughed. It's just like nuclear weapons. Every nation needs them to act as a restraint against the others. Time machines aren't like nuclear weapons. No one even realizes if they've been used. The whole world might change without even the person who used it knowing. There's no way to restrain their use. The world will just keep changing and changing, with no one knowing which country altered the worldline or how. That's right. A time machine is a far more delicate thing than a nuclear weapon. That's why we need your power. All of you people, I should say. Oh no. So they realized. You called it reading Steiner, as I recall. It seems to have the same symptoms as the new encephalitis. That's right. Leskinen was researching the new encephalitis too. We'd reached the point where we realized that the patients may be capable of detecting changes to the past. But we wanted proof. So does every intelligence agency in the world. They're desperately searching. I hated myself for not realizing the possibility sooner. I'd always had the wrong idea. Ain't that the same old, same old? He's always like this. he never even considered these things until way after the fact, and he's like, oh, you're so right. That's a thing, isn't it? Ah, Rentaro. I'd thought that the reason the new encephalitis patients were being brought together was just to give them meaningless treatment. But I was naive. Too naive. Leskinen and Stratfor's goal was to gather people with reading Steiner and study them. Maho just told me all about your amazing abilities. I had originally just hoped to get information about Kurisu's successes. But instead, we even got information on the new encephalitis. You are wonderful. This puts us at a step ahead of the rest of the world. And why didn't you tell me about this sooner? If you had, I wouldn't have had to do so many things to your friend Katsumi's brain. Oh, you are lucky my hands are restrained. I may be a scrawny nerd, but I definitely would have decked you. Katsumi. Katsumi Nakase. Did he mean Fubuki? And I wouldn't have had to use the procedure on Maho's brain either. Even Hyajo? Was that why she was acting so weird? She's your assistant, right? She respected you. She looked up to you. How could you use her in a human experiment? It was necessary to acquire information that will benefit all of humanity. And there's no need to panic. Both Maho and Katsumi will survive with only minor impairments to their brain functionality. You're insane. For the first time, I felt hatred for, and fear of, the man in front of me. I couldn't believe that this was the same man I respected so much. You and me both. I honestly thought he was a harmless, nice guy. A likable guy. I was so wrong. If we investigate the brains of patients who've contracted reading Steiner, I'm sure we'll learn more. If we can sell that in a set along with the time machine, we can maintain the military balance of power across the world. We can avoid war. I want your cooperation too. Leskinen's mannerisms hadn't changed a bit, even as he spoke of these horrifying things. He spoke of these insane things in the same manner that Maho once described as like a mischievous child. You tricked me, didn't you? You approached me just because I was friends with Kurisu. You tried to get information about Kurisu from me. I don't think I ever tricked you. It was a coincidence that we first met. It's true that a major reason I asked you to test Amadeus was your relationship with Kurisu. But it's also true that I got to know you. I really did take an interest in you. I still wish you could be my assistant. But that's a separate matter. Remember what I said. You're as valuable as the President of the United States himself right now. I need to prioritize the company's work over my private feelings. For the sake of humanity's future peace. I'm sorry, Lintalo, but at the same time, I'm excited. I can't wait to see all the information you possess. Go to hell. I'm gonna take a copy of your memory data. Your memories are going to be used in the Amadeus system. Interesting idea, right? That way, even if you die in an unfortunate accident, your memories will remain. Oh, don't worry. I'm not interested in killing you. Humans have far weaker security than Amadeus. Once they taste pain, they'll gladly share information to escape it. Their security, when it comes to keeping secrets, is practically non-existent. Torture doesn't work on Amadeus, which means it will be far more difficult to deal with than you. The only reason I'm taking the memory data is to have a backup. Even if, for example, you were unable to endure the torture and went insane, in the near future, we'll be able to download your memories back into your brain. Oh, you son of a bitch. So it's like being able to give me a lobotomy and then being able to restore me back to normal, just to do it again and again. That's messed up. I was trying not to curse. You attended my lecture, so you know this, right? We'll start by getting that memory data. And then, you're going to tell me all kinds of things. We're going to be busy. Now, relax. Otherwise, I can't extract the data correctly. Let's get in. You... Don't make that face. No one is coming to help you. This place is under Stratfor's control. Please, please let the worldline change. Come on, Russians. Change the timeline, please, Russians. Please mess with the past. No one knows about it but us. No one. I was too stunned to think. There was nowhere to run. My knees shook in terror as I imagined what was about to happen to me. Maybe it would have been better to die. And then I felt sick, as I remembered that I was fated not to die until 2025. True. If no amount of torture could kill me. Oh. Okay, welcome in. Welcome in, Mizoust? Mizoust? Welcome in, Kai. Welcome in, Kay. Welcome in, everyone. What is it you were playing? I already forgot where you were playing earlier. Oh yeah, you were playing Repo. So how was Repo? Welcome, Raiders. For those who don't know, my name is Carl Wolf. I'm a daily streamer and a variety gamer, especially a story gamer. I play visual novels, RPGs, adventure games, point-and-click adventure games, survival games, and I play horror games every Sunday. It was good, made it pretty far. Nice. I also want to play Repo someday, so I haven't been watching anyone play, because I want to go into it not really knowing anything. How's stream been? Stream's been good. We are in a bad situation. Our main character has been captured and is potentially going to be tortured for information. So obviously things are great. I'm hoping the world line changes so we can get out of this. I head to bed else, KK? Oh, I head to bed else KK bonk. Alright, Kai. Get some sleep. Don't get bonked. This was literally hell. So we're going over to Maho. Is Maho okay after that? Her head hurt. Maho knelt down, closed her eyes, and bit her lips to shut out the pain. There was an annoying noise in her head that wouldn't go away. It made the headache worse. No matter how much she covered her ears, she couldn't block it out. You know, in a way, it looks like Kay bonked him anyway. No matter how much she covered her ears, she couldn't block it out. She wanted to scream from the pain, but she held it in because she thought it would only make her headache worse. She could hear a voice mixed in with the noise. It was Dr. Leskinen's. Listen, Maho. You need to find out Okabe Lintalo's secret, no matter what it takes. Speaking of sleep, I am headed off to get my own rest. Take care, Cairo. Thank you, Kay. Or thank you for the raid, Kay. Get some sleep. I shortened that sentence for some reason. I meant to say that full one. Definitely get some good sleep. If you can't, I'll have to kill him. You don't want that, right? You seemed to really like Lintalo, didn't you? Me and Karisu kept bringing it up, after all. Even if you weren't interested in him originally, you couldn't help but think about him. That's how the human mind works. And to save him, I want you to find out what he knows. If you do that, I'm willing to bring him to my lab unconditionally. Maho, tell me everything you learned from him. You could say his future is in your hands. Yeah, my future of being tortured. The voice and the noise were extremely unpleasant. She couldn't really understand what the voice was saying. She couldn't hear him speaking, but her brain refused to understand the meaning of... She could hear him speaking, but her brain refused to understand the meaning of the words. But it didn't matter either way. Maho had done something terrible to Okabe Rentaru. She'd sold him out to Dr. Leskinen in Stratfor. And the fact that she knew it just made her guilt worse. She wanted to disappear from the world altogether.
Maho-san?
How did you run into Mayuri? Because you're outside? Yeah. She was on a busy street in Akihabara in early summer. She was leaning on the side of a building in the shade when she heard someone call her name.
やっぱり、真帆さんだ。
Well, this hat's not too bad. But I still like her better without hats. I knew it was you, Maho.
Mayuri-san.
Mayuri? She didn't expect to see Mayuri there, so she didn't know how to respond, but just looked back and stared.
具合悪いんですか?
Are you not feeling well?
大丈夫よ。
I'm fine.
オカリンを見ませんでしたか?
Have you seen Ocarine?
え、
Huh? Maho went completely still. Mayuri's innocent question reminded her of her own stupidity and cowardice.
どうして?
Why? Her voice was shaking.
オカリン、昨日から
I haven't been able to get a hold of Ocarine since yesterday.
お家にも帰ってない
He hasn't gone home. He hasn't picked up the phone. And he's not answering text messages or Ryan. Daru says I'm worrying too much, but something doesn't feel right. So I left school early today, and now I'm searching around here. It was still only July, but it was pretty hot. She'd been wandering around all of Akihabara in this heat. Mayuri Shiina was a kind, pure-hearted girl. That was the impression that Maho had. She would never betray someone, or get jealous, or let someone use her. Do you want to know? Mayuri leaned forward. Maho, do you know what Ocarine is? If you know, please tell me. Please. She bowed deeply. I see. And then she realized. And then she wished she hadn't. Mayuri was in love with Rintaro Okabe. A dull pain ran down her temples. Where'd that come from? You seemed to really like Rintaro, didn't you? She could hear the noise in her head. Just tell Mayuri everything. Then have this innocent girl tell you how horrible you are. Maybe you'll feel better then. You will not feel better, but she's also not going to tell you you're horrible. The idea raced through Maho's mind, even as she knew it was wrong. She tried to hold back her headache as she opened her mouth. I was with Okabe late last night. Were you? So, where is he now? Maho ignored her question. What are you? This is what he told me last night. No. He told me about another world he'd experienced, where you, Mayuri Shiina, had died again and again. Don't tell her. No matter what he did, he couldn't save you. You can't tell her this. To escape that nightmarish loop, to save you. It was like another person was speaking using Maho's mouth. Okabe sacrificed Kurisu. He let her die. That's what he told me. If he makes a time machine and tries to save Kurisu again, he'll go back to all of that. You're hurting her. But the words didn't stop. Okabe is so afraid of that. He's doing everything he can to protect you. This is the world he chose, after sacrificing many things to protect you. I'm sure he didn't tell you any of that, though. That's not true. No. Ocarine? Mayuri was too shocked to speak. She looked like she was about to cry at any instant. Suddenly, Mayuri turned around and started to walk away with slumped shoulders. Even from behind her, Maho could tell she was having trouble walking straight. The truth was so cruel that confronting it threatened her very identity. That's how it seemed to Maho. You happy about yourself now, Maho? Maho was still in a trance. It felt like there was a fog covering everything she saw. It was all out of focus, like a mirage. If someone had told her it was a dream, she would easily believe it. The same was true of her own mind. She knew she should feel worse about what she just told Mayuri, but while she realized she hurt her, she felt no emotion. That was probably why she was able to say something so awful. And then the phone in her pocket began to vibrate. Is it Kurisu? It is. She looked and saw it was from Amadeus, from Kurisu. She felt a small, thin needle prick her paralyzed heart. She couldn't answer it. How could she? She stared at the LCD screen, unable to move her fingers even a centimeter. How could I answer it? She couldn't let Kurisu see her like this. But even so, it felt wrong to just stay here. Maho decided to go after Mayuri. But by the time she made it to the overpass, Mayuri was already gone. Since she was right in front of the station, there were many people around, and it would have been impossible to find her. Why did you come up to me? If you hadn't talked to me, you wouldn't have had to suffer. She came up to you because now you're her friend. I'm not who I used to be. She looked down over the station from the overpass and whispered to herself. And then she saw someone in a distinctive outfit approaching her. Uh-oh. There's Kagari. They were wearing a black motorcycle suit and black full-face helmet, despite the heat. She thought it might have been a cosplayer, but instead of trying to take pictures, the people nearby were avoiding them. Given a closer look, the person appeared to be a woman. Even Maho could tell that she had incredible proportions. The woman walked under the overpass and vanished from Maho's view. And then she came up the stairs. Uh-oh. And then she came right towards Maho. Maho quickly looked away, like the other pedestrians, and tried to run away. But before she could, the woman in the motorcycle suit ran over and wordlessly grabbed her hand. There was a pain in her cheek. Did you slap her? She was caught off guard and staggered to the ground. At first, she didn't know what had happened. She rubbed her aching cheek, and only then did she realize that the woman in the motorcycle suit had slapped her. Oh, because Mayuri is her mother, so she's angry that you upset her mother. She's so obsessed with her mother that she's willing to let the world go towards its future of World War III just to stay with her mother. Because if that world is changed, then she would never meet her mother. Because Kagari is an orphan from the war. So Mayuri found her and adopted her. So World War III has to happen. That's how obsessed she is. Yep. Maybe take off the helmet, or at least like lift up the face mask a little. You hurt Mommy, didn't you? She could hear a muffled female voice from within the helmet. I'll kill you. Her voice was very calm, which only terrified Maho more. The professor told me about you, but it doesn't matter.
あなた
Who are you? Because she was wearing a helmet, Maho couldn't read her facial expression. Since the visor was lowered, she couldn't even see her eyes. There was no answer to her question. Instead, the woman looked up to the sky as if she noticed something. Maho looked up too. For a moment, it seemed as if a black shadow crossed the windows of the building. She could hear a helicopter. It was close. Please don't tell me Rintaro was on there. I keep saying Rintaro. How long had it been there? She hadn't noticed it at all. Then she felt the air around her change. The pedestrians were all looking towards the station in fear and shock. She could hear people saying things like, "What's that? Are they filming a TV show? Some kind of cosplay event?" Something was going on at the station. Maho stood up and looked too. Is it some men in black? Is it some soldiers?
何あれ
What is that? She found herself whispering the same thing as the others. Oh. There were 2 trucks painted a deep military green parked outside the station. Yep, soldiers. Men were coming out of them, dressed in camo and carrying weapons. At first, she thought it might have been the self-defense force, but the men weren't Japanese. They were American. It was hard to believe that what she was seeing was taking place in Japan. The men in camo disappeared into the alleyways, as everyone watched from a safe distance. They were headed towards the radio building. Oh no. That's where the time machine is. Maho had heard from Rintaro yesterday that the time machine was there.
まさかスタート
Was
4
that Stratfor? Or Russia? Or perhaps another country's military? Wait, this is the whatever. Were they here because Maho had told Luskinen what she'd learned from Rintaro? I keep saying you instead of Rintaro. As soon as the thought crossed her mind, she was hit with another terrible headache. It was all her fault. Everything was her fault. Until a moment ago, everything had seemed so hazy. But now she felt crushed by overwhelming guilt. If Okabe was right, and the Third World War was going to begin here in Akihabara, it would be because she gave the information he shared with her to Stratofor. I keep hearing an A between Strat and Stratofor, so I'll go with that. She suddenly realized that the girl who threatened to kill her had run down the stairs and towards the station. Maho never did figure out who she was. Well, she mentioned the professor, so she's clearly working with them. And then her phone started to vibrate again. It was from Kurisu. She wanted to get away from the guilt. And so this time, she picked up the phone.
先輩クリス大丈夫ですか
Are you okay?
何が
What do you mean?
一体どうしちゃったんですか
What happened to you?
どうもしないわ
Nothing.
だって
But
泣いてるじゃ
you're
ないです
crying.
か
Only then did she realize that her eyes were overflowing with tears. The fog over her mind was now totally gone, and all that was left was the guilt, the regret, and the headaches.
頭が痛いの
My head hurts. Get the hell out of her head, you bitch. You could say that his future is in your hands. She heard the noise again. Where's Okabe? What happened to him? Who cares about Okabe? Oh yeah, you were on. You tried to kill him. I saw it. Leave me alone. I can't do that. Just leave me alone. I couldn't beat you. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't be better than you. You know, Kurisu, I respect you. You're younger than me, but I think you're an incredible scientist. But at the bottom of my heart, this is what I used to think. Why did you have to show up? Why didn't you come 10 years before? Why didn't you come 10 years later? If it weren't for you, I would have had a more peaceful life. Then these awful feelings wouldn't take control of me. Everything I thought I knew, you destroyed. And even though you're dead, you're still with me. I want to just be sorry that you're gone, but I can't. You're still this wall that I can't overcome. And my pride and stubbornness get in the way. And the man I trusted the most took advantage of that to betray me. And I betrayed a friend who trusted me. I can't even think straight anymore. So leave me alone. She was getting far too emotional. Normally, she'd never behave like this, but she couldn't stop herself. Oh, that's gunfire. What the hell? Who are they shooting? She heard an explosion in the distance. The people around her started to scream, panic, and run. The flames from the explosions were coming from the direction the men in camo had gone. Did they do it? The helicopter sounds were getting louder. Glimpses of their dark, agile bodies had flashed in and out of Maho's vision for a little while now. And then she started to hear loud gunfire. They're not up against Suzu, are they? It was more than one or two people shooting. There was a battle going on between many people, taking place here in front of Akihabara Station. It was like the beginning of a war. If what Rintaro said was true, Suzuha Amane might be near the time machine, and she might be caught up in that battle. She wondered about the woman in the motorcycle suit, too. She started to stagger forward. She still didn't know what she was planning, but she needed to take responsibility for what she'd done. The elevators in the radio building were broken. Maho had no choice but to take the stairs to the roof. But maybe the power had been cut, because the lights were off on every floor. She could hear sporadic sounds of gunfire from the floors above. Don't go up there! Strangely, nobody came running past her to escape. There were several shops in the building, and of course, there should have been customers there. But despite the fact that the elevators weren't working, had they all evacuated earlier? Or were they all hiding somewhere and waiting for the terror to end? That was what she thought about as she sweated her way up the stairs. She's on the 7th floor. Just before she reached the roof, she saw someone for the first time. Wait, what? Why are you crying about mommy? Mommy's what? She was sitting on the stairs, cradling her knees. For some reason, her voice was muffled, but it did seem to be a woman's voice. Her head seemed big and round in the darkness. It was a moment before she realized that it was a full face helmet. That was when she realized it was the woman in the motorcycle suit from before. Where are you, Mommy? She seemed like a totally different person than the woman she'd met before. All she did was sob and cry for her mother. Okay, so her mother's fine. She just doesn't know where her mom is. Is she worried that her mom came this way? Hey, what's going on? Mommy, where are you? Mommy. Tell me! She shouted louder, and only then did the woman realize she was there. But she didn't even stand up. You're supposed to be a soldier. What do you mean Mommy's gone? You're supposed to be a soldier. You're supposed to be aware of your surroundings at all times, no matter what. Jeez, you're that obsessed. Mommy's gone. The time machine was destroyed. I wonder if she wanted the time machine to stay intact so that she could use it to get back to Mom? She probably wanted to go back to the future, right? So if the time machine is destroyed, then this is probably what she's crying about. The time machine was destroyed. Who's your mommy? Is it Suzuha Amane? No. No. It's Mommy Mayuri, of course. Maho's blood ran cold when she heard the name Mayuri. Mayuri's here? If that was true, she would have come here after she learned the truth from Maho. But she has to be alive in order to send Kagari back into the past. In order for Kagari to even know them. So for her to be dead, the worldline would have to change right about now. It's my fault. Maho put her hands to her head. If I hadn't said that, Mayuri wouldn't have... Uh-oh. Sorry, I had to yawn, but uh-oh. The woman in the motorcycle suit stood up and approached her menacingly. That's right. You got the information out of Rentaro Okabe. And that's what began all of this. Give me back my mommy! The girl grabbed her by the collar and lifted her off the ground. There wasn't anything she could say. When she didn't answer, the woman let go and fell to the ground crying. Things would be so much easier if she just killed me here. Her mind was in such chaos that she couldn't stop herself from thinking it. She couldn't stay calm at all. And the last thing she clung to was... You're gonna call Kurisu?
クリス先輩
The AI made from Kurisu Makase's memory data. Maybe she was still thinking about their last discussion because she seemed upset. She wasn't saying anything. So Maho gave up the last of her pride.
クリスどうしたらいい
Kurisu, what do I do?
いろいろなことが起こりすぎて
Too much has happened,
私一人じゃ
and there's nothing I can do on my own anymore.
どうにも自分のしてしまったことなんだから
At least, I
せめ
want to
て
take
責任を
responsibility for what I've done.
取りたいの
And then she realized that she was still being proud, and corrected herself.
私は
She asked herself, what do I want to do?
私は岡部さんを
I want to save Okabe. I want to save Mayuri.
さんも助けた
I
い
want to apologize to both of them so they'll forgive
二
me.
人に謝ってそれと
And Kurisu,
クリスあなたのことも助けた
I
いの
want to save you too.
だから力を貸して
So help me.
お願いよ
Please.
先輩が私に
You're asking me for help? Kurisu's eyes were wide. That's right. Her pride had kept her from ever asking Kurisu for help before. And it was the same with Kurisu, too. And knowing Kurisu's personality, if Maho asked for help, she'd use every bit of brainpower she had to give it.
ねえ教えてちょうだい
Come on. Tell me.
あなたなら
You can give me some solution,
解
right?
決できるでしょ
That's why they said Kurisu Makase was a genius. She was a woman who made the impossible possible. And suddenly the song Do the Impossible flashes through my head. From Gurren Lagann. Maho waited for Kurisu's answer. The last hope. The last thing left in Pandora's box. She waited for Kurisu to give her the answer. But...
無理ですよ
Well, damn. Anticlimactic. It's impossible. Maho was struck dumb for a moment. Then she realized how selfish she was being, and hated herself for it. She expected too much of Kurisu, and tried to put all the burden on her. And just a few moments ago, she'd been the one who rejected Kurisu.
そうよね
Yeah, you're right.
その答えは当然
Of
だわ
course that's what you'd say.
ごめん
I'm
ごめ
sorry.
んねクリス
I'm sorry, Kurisu. It
私
was
あ
so
なたに
horrible
ひ
to
どいこ
you.
とを言ったのにあなたが無条件で協力してく
And
れ
then I
ると
stupidly thought that you'd help me unconditionally. No, you're getting the wrong idea. I'll help you unconditionally. What?
今なん
What
て
did you just say?
先輩に頼まれたら
I can't turn down a request for help from you.
ませんよ岡部や椎名
And I want to save Okabe and Mayuri Shiina, too.
でもじゃあ
But then,
気持ちとしては協力
I'd love to help, but
残念ながら
unfortunately, my help would just make things worse.
不利な状況に追い込まれます私は
I'm being constantly monitored by Stratophore.
常に常に
Constantly?
私
Whenever I'm talking to someone like this, all the information is transferred to Stratophore. There's a hidden function in the Amadeus app that does that. Even Maho hadn't known that existed. So, if you try to help Okabe, Dr. Leskinen will know all about it.
じゃあどうすれば。
But then what do I do?
でも逆に
But if you're willing to take advantage of that, there's something we can do.
先輩
Maho,
私
will you trust me?
信頼先輩
Maho? Yeah,
あなただけが
you're all I've got.
頼りよありがとうございます
Thank you.
ちなみにこの
By the
対話
way,
内容も
I'm sure this conversation is being monitored as well.
え
What?
そんな
But then,
じゃあもしあなたが
if they know you're
私に
helping
協力
me-
するのがバレたらパターンとしては3つ
there are 3 possibilities.
サーバーからデータを移動
They could take my data off the server and isolate me,
または古いバージョンの
or overwrite my data with an older version of my memories.
最悪の場合には
In the worst case, they could delete me entirely.
そんな
No,
大丈夫です
don't worry.
あなたは
You're capable of standing up on your own 2 feet.
私のことなんかどうでもいいわ
I'm not worried about me.
心配をしているのよ
I'm worried about you.
私はただ
I'm nothing but data. But thank you.
ありがとう
The Kurisu on the screen bowed and smiled. I'm proud that I was able to work with you,
真帆
Maho.
先輩と一緒に研究でき何を
What?
その
What?
根性の別れみたい
Don't
な
talk like it's the last time we're ever gonna see each other.
も
Well,
う会えないかもしれ
it
ま
might
せん
be.
から私はあなたのことが
I
嫌い
hate
よ
you.
そうやっていつだって
You always do
私を置い
this.
て
You
先に
always go
行っ
and
てし
leave me
まうのだ
behind. But that's who Kurisu Makase was. When Maho had asked her for help, both she and Kurisu should have been prepared. That's why.
いつか必ず私はあ
Someday,
なたに追いついてやる
I'll
わ
catch up to you.
それどころか
No,
追い越してやるから
I'll surpass you.
それまで待ってなさい
Just you wait.
はい
Yeah. Kurisu smiled once more and disappeared from the screen. Maho wiped away her tears and thwomped the crying girl next to her on the helmet.
いつまで泣いているの
How long are you going to keep crying?
あなたはマユ
You
リさん
want
を
to
助
save
けたいん
Mayuri,
でしょ
right?
だったら
So help me.
私に協力して
Help you?
まず岡部さんを助けるわ
First, we need to find Okabe.
彼なら今の時
He should be able to show us how to get out of
提示して
this.
くれるはず
But do you know where Stratophore's hideout is? I don't.
私だって知らないわ
Neither do I. But Maho grabbed the girl by the hand and helped her up, then raced down the stairs.
知らないけどすぐに
I don't know,
私の可愛い
but
後
my
輩
friend
が
is gonna find me the
調べ
answer
て教えてくれ
soon.
る
She told me to believe in her. Kurisu Makase wouldn't betray me. As soon as she left the radio building, she got a message on her Rhine. The gunfire was continuing. As she hurried away, she looked down at her phone. Okabe is in the basement at Tokyo Denki. Denki? Whatever. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm bad at pronouncing all these names. I just learned this now. I followed their monitoring to find their location. And take care of Okabe for me. And teach that damn pervert of a professor what happens to peeping toms who watch me all the time. So Kurisu knew the whole time, she just couldn't say anything. Damn. When she read it, she smiled despite everything that was going on.
ありがとうクリス
Thank you, Kurisu.
ありがとう
Thank you. She clutched the phone tightly to her chest. But then she quickly changed gears.
ストラト4のアジトがどこか分かった
I found the Stratophore building. Hideout. Tell me where it is. I'll go there and kill everyone inside. I mean, I'm okay with that. Maho shivered at the ice in her words. She felt a bottomless madness coming from the woman in the motorcycle suit. But for now, she had to cooperate with her. There was no way she could get Rentaru back from Maho on her own.
行きましょう
Let's go. She needed to take responsibility for the future she'd created. To avoid that cruel future. Maho ran through the streets of Akihabara, where a war was already beginning. Are we switching gears? We are. Normally I want to go for at least 3 hours, but since I had to start so late after the day I've had, I'm going to go with just 2 hours, 2 hours, 12 minutes. I will call it here. Next Thursday, let me see. Sorry, about to get a black screen because I'm in window mode, tapping out of the game. Let me see my calendar. Let's see, this week. So this week, Thursday and Saturdays are my visual novel days. Thursday the 10th is my 1-year anniversary, so I will not be playing a visual novel. So I will be playing again on Saturday. The next Steins Gate will be Saturday, the 12th. But after that, it's going to be put on hold until May. Because I will be playing a bunch of games that I have picked out for my 2-week vacation from work, from actual work, real life work. So the 11th will be, the 12th. The 12th will be the last visual novel, the last Steins Gate stream for this month. I'll try to make sure that one is probably at least 4+ hours. But for now, we will call it here. Let me save. I'm just going to save in the next page. And then let me skip ahead to a scene to use as my thumbnail for YouTube. Just ignore all this. Ignore all this. Perfect.
岡部さん
Well, I wish it was without the text, but perfect. This will work. Alright. So let me bring up the raid message. Raid 1 for followers. My keyboard's lagging. Raid 2 for subscribers. So go ahead and copy one of those, and we will say, okay, we will say hi to whoever I pick out to raid. While I look for someone to raid, let me go ahead and get my music ready. Let me quiet you. I'm going to go ahead and start it because I have to click out of the game and I need to get that thumbnail. I don't want a black screen as my thumbnail. So I'm going to start my music now. while I do my outro. Okay. So thank you everyone for those who are in chat and those who are just lurking. I appreciate it as always. I hope you all have a good morning, day, or night, whatever time it is for you guys. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.
In a room where shadows loom, a man sits deep in gloom, with a pen held tight in hand, sketching dreams that understand. Walls may close, the night may fall, but his spirit stands tall. Lines he draws are doors that lead to worlds where dreams are free. With a pen he built his dreams, turning silence into streams. In his mind he's never alone, crafting realms he calls his own. Paper whispers, secrets told, journeys inked in black and bold. Mountains climb or rivers bend, in the world that he can mend. He may be confined and still, yet his heart is wild with thrill. Through each line a sky so wide, in his world he takes a ride. Every sigh is painted bright, stars that gleam in darkest night. With a pen his spirit sings, soaring high.